I don't know. I don't know. A good plot is not enough to hook me. I need to be entranced by your writing style. Otherwise, I will want to fucking kill myself. Yeah. The Oprah arc. I don't like Oprah. She scares me. Doesn't seem like a nice person. Oprah? No. I think because my introduction to Oprah was Dr. Phil. That made me have an innate distrust for her. Because I used to really like Dr. Phil. And then I started to see the cracks in his facade. And it made me hate him. And so knowing that Oprah, like, gave that man his whole career, I was like, ugh. He's a bad person. I think Dr. Phil is a very bad person. And I think Oprah... You know, I'm not normally like the guilt by association type, but like Oprah made a very deliberate choice to give that man a fuck ton of programming and everything. Like she literally made him. It's not like it's not like this is something he came into on his own and they just happened to be friends or whatever. She made him. What's wrong with Dr. Phil? What did he do? So when you first watch Dr. Phil, it feels like Jerry Springer for the intellectual, quote unquote. You know, like that's the vibe that they're trying to go for. When you're watching Dr. Phil, you're not watching schlock. You're watching real therapy happening because Dr. Phil is a real therapist or psychiatrist or whatever the fuck he is. I don't remember. It's been over 10 years since I watched him. He's like he's a real doctor. He's a real doctor. And these are real people with real problems. And Dr. Phil is going to deliver the cold, hard truth whether people want to hear it or not. This isn't made up for television. This is real life. And at first it's like, oh, like this is interesting. Like for me anyways, like I didn't know polygraphs were so extremely useless. Did you know polygraph tests, you know, those little lie detector tests, did you know those aren't admissible in a court of law? Yeah. Pseudoscience. Yeah. Polygraph tests are pseudoscience. But Dr. Phil uses those in like every episode. In every episode, you can cheat polygraph test by clenching your butt. He gets really fucking mad. He crashes out on people on his show because they can tell when you're doing that. They can tell if you're trying to fudge the polygraph test by doing like any sort of muscle tightening. And so if you do that, Dr. Phil will he will stand up and he will flip the fuck out. Dr. Phil used polygraph tests. He would I'm sorry, but like this is the best way to describe this. He would like victim shame people. Victim blame, victim shame, whatever. Like there was a whole thing about rape. I'm sorry, I'm gonna be pretty woke with this one. Like, he was like, well, yeah, if you're wearing a mini skirt, you're going to get raped if you go into a bar. And it's like... What? I don't think you can just say that. I don't... Science, yeah. And he's like presenting this from like a position of authority, and it's like, that can be your opinion, but I don't know, man. I don't know. It's just an old school way of thinking. Yeah, he had like a very old school way of thinking with some things, which I'm not opposed to old school advice, you know? I'm not opposed to you should dress modestly. Okay, however, I don't think that you should go on television and be saying shit like that from like a point of like science-backed professional. I don't know, man. That was kind of weird. That goes from like opinion to, I don't know, Dagabongo thinking, was that woke? It was controversial at the time, I guess, to be like, you shouldn't like blame rape victims for wearing mini skirts, but there was some cool stuff that he said. There was some like little nuggets of wisdom from Dr. Phil that I really liked, and I wish I could just separate from him. Like he brought up an analogy. There was a lot of like people that cheated that went on his show, and one of the things that he would do, to my surprise, is like he would blame both parties. Like, so say like a couple goes on the show and the husband cheated on the wife. If the wife goes like, hey, that's fucked up that you cheated. Or no, like they would bring on, they wouldn't do it like that. They would bring on the husband, they'd bring on the wife, and they'd bring on the woman that he cheated with. And the wife would always get mad at the mistress. But Dr. Phil would be, he gave this great analogy. He was like, you know, if two people are, if somebody is trespassing over a fence and somebody helps them over the fence, the person who helped them is held liable, but so is the guy who trespassed over the fence. Like it was a two-person effort, and I always thought, you know, like that's, for that at the time that he said that, like that was very, that was not like the popular thing to say. Like all the movies at the time were still like, oh my god, I gotta get back with my cheating husband, and in order to do that, I need to get rid of his mistress. Cheating's not an accident now. Show me your butthole, thank you. Ever see the Bum Fights founder go on his show dressed up as Dr. Phil? I did not. True, both are liable. Yeah. That's a dog shit analogy to the situation. Well, the way that he said it was nice. But anyways, I don't know. He would try to give people reality checks. But like the people he would be giving reality checks were like abuse victims, and he'd be like yelling at them, which didn't sit right with me. Like he would get really angry at people who suffered abuse and be like, well, you need... It's like, I don't know. I don't know. That just doesn't seem like it would help. You know, I know like... It's a nice idea to give people the cold hard truth. To give them a reality check. But yeah, I think in that situation, it's just gonna bounce. I think you're just gonna add more mental stress, and they're gonna break down, and they're not gonna know what to do. I don't know. Yeah. Tends to be moot point at that point, yeah. Or some other things. Oh yeah, sending kids to the ranch. That's crazy. That's crazy. I think... for those of you who don't know, a lot of troubled teens would go on his show, and he would send them to the ranch, which is a place out in the middle of like Arizona or whatever. And the idea was that it would teach them to be like self-sufficient. But they would go to the ranch, and the people there would... You ever see the movie Holes? It was the movie Holes. Dr. Phil was sending a bunch of children to the movie Holes in real life. But instead of digging holes, they were like riding horses and shit. I don't know. Dr. Phil is very sensationalized. And I don't think sensationalism is wrong. I think Jerry Springer, you know, doing the... And here's the father! Blah, 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 blah. You know, like pitting a bunch of morons against each other. I don't think that's Like, I know this is gonna be an unpopular take because it's not the nice opinion, but like, who cares, right? Who fucking cares? Some people, that was Maury. Okay, whatever. I thought Jerry Springer did it as well. But, whatever. The shows where some fucking people go on the show and they fucking air out all their dirty laundry. Who cares? Literally, who cares? You can go like, oh, well, actually, it's really icky because it's exploiting poor people who need this opportunity in order to, like, get custody of their children from their abusive partner. Man, I'm not reading all that. I don't care. I'm not gonna dig into the nuances of every single person's life. And if you really want to get into, like, the ethics debate of everything, yeah, a lot of television is fucking terrible, okay? A lot of television is fucking terrible. It is what it is. I don't care. Okay? But Dr. Phil, I think is different because it goes on and it claims to be like real therapy. He claims to be a real doctor that is solving real people's problems, and he's gonna provide you with real help. Yo, Maury's bringing people on doing pregnancy tests. Who cares? They did that to themselves. They were not under some sort of false impression when they went on the show. But Dr. Phil, come on my show. We'll run some tests and stuff. We'll see. We'll see if you're telling the truth about whether or not you were raped. It's like, this feels wrong. This feels very wrong. I don't know. I don't think Dr. Phil. I think Dr. Phil is evil. I think Dr. Phil is really fucking evil, which, by the way, like, those were real episodes. I started watching him when I was in, like, middle school. Because I was so desperate for, like, some sort of guidance in my life. Like, how do I be a human being? How do I be an adult? He shamed a man defending himself against his abuser. I think I know which one you're talking about. Are you talking about the one where the guy kept getting beat up by his wife and Dr. Phil was like, you better not lay a hand on her because if you do, you know, you got to think about it like this, right? As men, we're just biologically a lot bigger and we could really hurt a woman. A woman can't do anything to us. So if you... like, her hitting you and stuff, like, maybe you should just be treating her more nicely, or whatever the fuck he said. But he said the thing, he was like, oh yeah, like, women can hit men, but men cannot hit women. That wasn't even like a one-time thing that he talked about. He said that quite a few times. And it's like, bro, women can abuse men. This is not... that's not up for debate. That's not up for debate. What's wrong with you? What is wrong with you? What about the men that are killed by their wives? Did they deserve it? Is that what you're saying right now? Really? That's what you're implying. I don't like to be the type to, like, jump to, oh, so you're saying this, but, like, it really feels like that's what you're fucking saying. Turn the other cheek is shit advice, actually. He used to say that exact phrase so fucking often. He would always say that. He would always say, turn the other cheek. Okay, she's gonna slap that one too. And maybe because he's letting her abuse the fuck out of him, maybe she's gonna escalate to new types of violence. I don't know. You don't know either. And it's not improbable. So why are you condoning this? He was just trash. Dr. Phil is evil, evil trash. And Oprah is trash for creating that. Because again, it's not like he was shopping around for a show or whatever. And then Oprah, like, pulled a few strings to help him out or whatever. And, like, she didn't know what was going to happen. Dr. Phil started on her show. He wasn't even a real doctor. Is he not actually a real doctor? Because I didn't know about that part. Yes, Pippa, you can't say that about Oprah. I don't like Oprah. I don't like Oprah. He is a real psychologist. Okay. Nurse Phil. Remember when Dr. Phil went with Border Patrol to confront people they were arresting? Is that recent? Because no, I don't. I've never heard of that. XLR, thank you. Phil was super harsh towards men, even when they were the victim. He was. Dude, Dr. Phil fucking hates men. Dr. Phil fucking hates men. He wants all men to fucking suffer. Which I guess in hindsight makes sense why Oprah and her audience took to him. Because like that's just like Oprah's audience, right? Is like middle-aged women that hated their husbands. And that's why they were fucking at home watching Oprah. So I guess like the natural transference here would be like, okay, Dr. Phil, go start your own show and make sure the man is always in the wrong. I don't know, the shit he was saying to women was also really fucked. The shit he was saying to women was also fucked. But I don't think he was ever sympathetic towards men. He was always being like, well, you're the man, so you need to man up. And it's like, Billy's in a wheelchair. Like, not to say you can't be a man and be in a wheelchair, but like he's being harassed by a crazy bitch that's like destroying his car, like setting it on fire and breaking into his home. And we mean man up. There's a pretty big imbalance of power here. I don't know. I feel like something should be done. Man up is good advice. It's just oftentimes the wrong advice. I feel like it's just usually pointless advice. Yes, most situations can be resolved like if you steel yourself to them and just get over everything and make the right choice. But if it was that easy, you would just do it. Man up applies in like very specific circumstances. Anyways. Yeah, just fix it, bro. Anyways, I'm gonna head out for the night. Appreciate you guys popping in.